Okay, thank you so much for joining us today for Community Quotes. If I can have you say and spell your first and last name for me.
It is Blaire, Blaire, Savoie, S-A-V, as in Victor, O-I-E. And we can add Saulnier, S-A-U-L-N-I-E-R.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, Blair. The reason that I know you very well is that you volunteer here at AOC. We started this year at the beginning of January with a new program that we read the news daily, Monday through Friday, for our visually impaired audience. And you're a volunteer that's been helping us for several months now, coming in to read the news. So tell me why that's important to you.
Well, first of all, I love the news in general. I've always, when I was little, I used to want to be an anchor, which I'm not now. So it's, and then my sorority, with the whole seeing impaired, my sorority at Loyola, Delta Gamma, our philanthropy was service for sight, and we did a lot of charity things with children, for the blind in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and just anything related to that, dog training, service dogs. So when I saw this, I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to kind of get back involved with stuff, and why not do this?
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about really makeup or doing my hair because it's on the radio.
Yes.
And it's fun.
So tell me, Blair, where did you grow up and what was that like?
Okay, well, I was born here, Lafayette, Louisiana, at Lafayette General. And in fact, it's kind of funny because a couple of the people that I went to school with, according to my mom, we were all in the same hallway. December 8th. So I've been here my entire life. I love that I'm from Lafayette. At 18, I went to Fatima, great experience, and STM. And then I went to Loyola in New Orleans, but you would have thought that I was Miss Lafayette. It used to really annoy me that people would always go to New Orleans first or Baton Rouge, and I was like, how can you not know about the Cajun capital of the world?
Yeah.
So I just am really proud of where I've grown up. It's not too big, not too small. Of course, there's the culture. It's just awesome.
There is.
But when I came back, a lot has changed. I was like, maybe I don't know as many people as I thought I did. So it's just I'm just really, like I said, really proud. And I'm also happy that I get to raise my daughter here. I was in Baton Rouge, and not that I don't love Baton Rouge, because I do. But it's been really great that she will hopefully have the same experiences as me.
Yeah.
And I get to grow, and she gets to grow up with my friends' children. And yeah, so I'm just really proud of that.
One of the sayings that we have here in Acadiana is "Laissez le bon temps rouler."
Oh my gosh, yes, I know it
Good
very well.
times roll.
And that's
Yes.
that's another one.
How does Blair like to let the good times roll?
Oh, Lord day. Legally? Or
Yes, legally.
I'm joking. That wasn't a good one. Okay, I I know. Sorry. See, I'm getting started again. I know, like, well, what part, when? I'm like, okay, well, so I enjoy really everything Lafayette Cajun related in terms of that. Whether that includes attending festivals, concerts, art stuff, even sporting events.
Okay.
You have football, basketball, just having fun with friends, crawfish bowls. What can you not do to not have fun here?
Well, and something that we have here in Acadiana is some great cuisine. If
Correct.
you could eat the same food every day for 1 month, what would you eat
Crawfish étouffée.
every day?
Every day. And I'm also kind of particular about it. My mom's, which is not anything fancy, and Verons, little Verons, they call me. I've never had a place call me. When they bake their crawfish étouffée, I get the phone call and they put it in the refrigerator for me to come get it. I love crawfish étouffée.
Okay. What was your first job and what lessons, if any, did you learn from it?
Okay, so I did, little things here and there. But when I was in college, my real, I guess you could say, first job was I started off at Loyola University, and I worked in one of the vice president's offices in the old, one of the original buildings at Loyola. And my job was a student worker. And when I get up, I forgot the lady's name, but basically they focused on making the magazine that they send out to alum and people relate to Loyola. And my job was to go through the newspaper in the obituary section, which in New Orleans is, it's got its own section. I've never seen so many obituaries in my life. And even though I was pretty sure that someone I had to go down each one and type their names into a computer to see if they were a Loyola alum, and to put them into the magazine. So this was 2000. So it probably could have gone easier. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'd never seen obituaries where they included died of stab wounds, or it was, oh yeah. And I was like, I know. So I learned it was a really interesting job to say the least. And even though they told me I had to check out every name, some people, I'm like, I just don't.
You skip.
I skip, but then I was like, you know what? You can't judge people. Who's to say that before
Right.
going to the street corner, they didn't go to Loyola? So I had to do it anyway, and just in case, because that would be my luck, and they would complain anyways. But it was really interesting, and it was kind of funny, and yeah, that was my first real job, and it was. But yeah, I've never looked at obituaries the same.
I bet, and you have to read them for the newspaper program.
Yes, and well, that's simple. I'm not kidding. Every day, how do they still have people in that city? I don't know, but yeah, I had never seen that before. So that was my first job. Yeah, and then political. I've always worked on campaigns.
Yeah.
Just kind of really.
And you've never had aspirations to run for
That
office?
is, well,
That might be.
as a kid, I wanted to be. I'm interested in a lot of different things, but one thing that stays similar is somehow it's some way or form it's with people. Mm-hmm. Different types of people. Well, I always wanted to be on Broadway. I remember I wanted to be a police officer because I wore my dad's aviators, and I thought that was cool, and that's what police officers apparently wore. I remember I wanted to be in the Peace Corps because I was young. What else did I want to do? I wanted to be on
A news anchor, you said?
Yes, a reporter. Politics. I used to say that I was going to be the first Cajun woman governor, and Miss Kathleen Blanco beat me. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I did an internship for her campaign, which is what eventually brought me to LSU. Uh-huh. But yeah, so she beat me. But then as I got into college and had fun, and with today's technology, I just don't know if my campaign would be pulling out all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I wanted to do that, but it's kind of better. You get a lot more things done behind the scenes, I guess. Yeah. And then I became interested in the whole lobbying aspect. I got an opportunity to work for a contract lobbyist who's been around forever, works really hard, Mr. Randy Haney in Baton Rouge. And honestly, from there, I really wanted to eventually join a nonprofit and possibly do legislative affairs for them. Mm-hmm. But I haven't done that yet. Still interested.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Okay.
Or a college professor.
Really?
But it'd have to be a class that it would be okay if I was late. I know that sounds really. It'd have to be an older class or something. I know I don't have the best time management skills with that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
Well, what if it was a night class?
Oh yeah, I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah, there you go.
And
night. So you need to be on time.
That'd be on time. Actually, you know what else I'd like to do? But you probably have to go to school for it, like everything else. There's a show called Last Chance U. It's on Netflix. It's about college football teams in JUCO and how they're getting those kids. They need to fix their grades to go to a bigger school. And there's a woman over there that's in that on that show. She, I think it's like Scuba, Mississippi. It's a really big junior college where a lot of these football players go.
Do you like to read? If you had to recommend a book to someone, what book would you recommend?
That's one of those questions. I wish people, I don't really, I have a lot of books. Many are great for decorating. But I honestly, I tend to go towards books that people probably wouldn't get. I like historical books, or, for example, one book that is by my bed that I sometimes pick up, it's so lame, not lame, but not, I guess, something that people would think that I would read, is about the Louisiana Civil War. Okay. And there's just something, I really love Louisiana history and how things in the past have got us here. And it's so fascinating. I feel like Louisiana pretty much has made America. I tell people we're just it for the size of our state, but there's just so much that I'm really proud to be from here. And so I really enjoy that, and it's amazing that in just America in general, or anywhere in general, that we are here given, history in our past and how. So I read a lot of things like that. I'm also interested in just anything really about people or this Native American women book, social issues. Literally, I like to learn about all kinds of stuff. I'm interested in people, culture.
Do you like to travel?
I love to travel, but I haven't really traveled a lot since I've had my child.
Okay.
So it's been maybe 7 years.
What's been a favorite vacation of yours?
I love Jamaica. It's just right. There's a lot of, I don't know, for some reason I get a lot of similarities, and of course with their reggae music and how it's such a big part of their life out in South Louisiana. Zydeco and Cajun music is such a part of our life, and there's just something about Jamaica that just makes me smile. I've been there a few times. Okay. They do have their issues, of course, like everywhere. Yeah. But I don't know why, I've always loved it. And Cozumel, which, by the way, is not during a cruise ship. I've gone there to stay, and it's a really beautiful island. Place. Surprisingly, I was impressed with how the government has wildlife preserves everywhere. Right. And you don't really see when you think of big cities but no, it's really cool. And they have the Mayan ruins, which I love, that type of stuff. So yeah, I guess I like areas with culture and fun, but it's still a little Americanized. Sure. So I don't feel like, but I'd love to travel and really, I want to go really all over the world.
You do? You want
to I do. But the 50 states first. I think there's a lot in our country that, we don't, it's huge.
It is.
And it's so different everywhere.
It is.
And, I don't think you can really put Americans, you say you're American, but that could mean so many different things. So yeah, I'd like to know about that kind of stuff.
Blair, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be and why?
Not talk so much. No, I know it sounds wrong. No, sometimes I need to just listen more than that kind of, or just, that sounds kind of lame, but there's a lot of things I would change. But I guess the main one is to stop procrastinating and to actually practice what I preach.
What is the best advice you've ever been given, or advice that you like to give to people?
Okay, so at 36 years old, I'm very wise, but really the best advice I've ever been given and that I tend to naturally pass on is really just the simple stuff, but for somebody that makes it so hard for people to follow through with. Just treat others as you want to be treated. Respect, being polite can get you far. Unexpected. And just actions have consequences, and those are really, that's really it. And I'm constantly still learning and trying to apply those things. And also don't think you know it all. Because you don't always be willing to listen and to learn, and there's two sides to every story. Really just things that seem practical.
Yeah.
And I try to, treat them with kindness.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring up the polite part, because that can go a long way. When I was in 3rd grade, I went to a Stars of Coteau basketball camp, which I was not prepared to sleep away from. It was at Opelousas Catholic. I remember I had a picture of my parents. I never realized how much I'd missed my parents. I had a picture, I'd cry. But I was not the best basketball player. I ended up becoming a really good basketball player as I got older.
Okay.
Just toot my own horn. People might not say the same thing, but 1996 Catholic League championship still makes me feel like I am Jordan. But I went to basketball camp. Look, I was not that good. I just went with friends, and I won the end of the camp. Everyone gets their awards. I mean, I knew that wasn't happening. But then they said they created a special award. So I was like, okay. It was for the most polite camper at the concession stand.
Oh, wow, how nice.
How hilarious. That's where all my money was going. I was just hanging out by the concession stand, buying candy and chips and just talking to the people. And so politeness, being genuine can get you far and you don't even realize it.
If you could spend one day in someone else's shoes, who would it be and why?
There's so many people's shoes that I would want to be in.
Okay, give me a few.
Well, of course, I want to see what it's like to be President of the United States. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't know, just any of them, really. Maybe I really don't know. Because it kind of has me stumped. Mm-hmm. I guess it's going to be kind of strange, but like a butler or a janitor at the White House or the Pentagon, or because that's where all the secrets are. Have you ever watched Breakfast Club and the janitor was like, I know everything that's going on? That's whose shoes I want to be into. Don't think I'm not going to be reading them. No. I just, I know it's a really strange response, but kind of, and also just, I truly believe you have to understand you have to be in somebody else's shoes. Mm-hmm. So I guess if there's something I don't know. I'm trying to think of something really good, but I can't.
While you think about that, we'll go on to our next question, then we can
dinner with
come
people
back to
or
that.
something like that. Great. I hate these episodes. I don't hate them. I don't like that word at all. I just don't like to think that hard. I'm joking. That's another thing. I would have to have dinner parties.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm interested in all kinds of different stuff. So maybe like one night I'd have like a dinner party with like 5 historical people. Mm-hmm. That political wise.
Okay.
So what you think is going on? And bounce ideas off each other. Then we'd have to have like the musician night.
Right.
We could throw in some like Jimi Hendrix.
Okay. Who are some of your favorite musicians?
Oh my gosh. Well, of course, I am an all-time Wayne Toops fan. Okay. Though my marriage did not work out, he did play at my wedding, and I wanted, since I've been 9 years old, I always said I wanted to play at my wedding, and it happened. Even like I said, it didn't work out. It was still
you can't hold it against him.
No, well, I don't know. He did cut the hair, so I'm not saying that has something to do with it. No, but I know it's kind of silly. But I really, enjoyed it. I love Rockin' Doopsie. I also love New Orleans music, Rebirth Brass Band, Trombone Shorty, the Funky Meters, down to, because I'm a real, I know, I love like the Black Crowes, Blind Mel. I like everything.
Okay.
And then when I would try to study, that's when I would turn on the classical stuff. But yeah, I really like everything.
Okay. Well, with having such a positive attitude throughout life, I think you've got a great sense of humor also, and people gravitate to you. Do you have anything that you regret?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. However, where I am in my life now, if I would not have gotten myself in those situations, and it's it's true though, would not have my child. And right now that is, and I've made some really, but I don't think I would, like I said, you know, you really need to prepare to expect the unexpected. Because right now where in my life was sure not where the STM homecoming queen, city council president person would be now. But that's okay.
Yeah, because people change and you evolve.
Well, and that's another thing I've also learned throughout life is that opinions change. You can't really, you should learn from your actions. Don't really judge somebody specifically on their past, even though people love to do that. They assume they know you. That's why I could never be in politics.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't look back, and I think I've learned something from all of those experiences, and hopefully, which also gives me hope that if I continue to make certain decisions, it will end up with the right result for me.
What is your most prized possession?
This rock.
Okay. Or give me your top three. If your house was on fire and provided that all people and animals are out, what would be the top three things you would grab?
This is going to sound really morbid, but speaking of animals, one of the things, okay, so I love my dogs, and this is going to sound really strange, two of my dogs that have passed on that have, you know, people come into your life for certain reasons. Well, these dogs did. Maya and Maddie. I'm getting emotional about it. I have their ashes in a cute little box with their picture. I know that sounds kind of crazy. I know it sounds really kind of odd, but I want, and I know
they're your pets.
They are, and also, of course, I'd have to grab a photo album and a toothbrush. But a rose. I've learned. Okay, since my divorce, which was not awesome, I learned to live without a lot of things. That really material things are not so important. I used to be extremely sentimental about stuff, but it's just stuff.
Yeah.
So really, just pictures. Molly and Maya. I know that sounds really strange. And this rosary from my grandmother. Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's not a good answer either.
No, it is. It is.
And it sounds so weird, but they're small little cute boxes, so no one would know what was in them. I just think it's decorative.
That's the way it should be.
Oh, and this little Bible that my grandmother gave me for first communion. Well, it's like it's just, I don't know, I've always kept it with me.
Gotcha. Do you have any fears or phobias?
Oh, Lord, yes.
What do you fear the most?
Well, actually, there's something I don't really want to say on camera. I know, I was like, because I don't want him to get pissed, but the person. No, I fear not really being the best I can be for my daughter. And I know she's only 7, but I do, okay, so this is getting kind of personal, and you don't have to put this on here, but given my divorce and my situation, I do fear, that's my biggest fear that I'm concerned about right now, is that sometimes those actions will affect her later on. I don't want that.
Right.
That's honestly, I know that's kind of broad,
It's not a bad
but I really don't have any phobias.
That's good.
Heights, I didn't know that I was scared of them until recently. I get weak in the stomach. Flying, that kind of stuff. But honestly,
really flying
and
in an airplane.
Well, I do. When I'm up there, it's fine. It probably didn't help that my dad, when I was younger, said, "Okay, count to 30." When it took off, and then I said, "Count to 30," and he said, "Okay, you just survived the most dangerous part of a plane ride." I was like, "Sweet." So I've never forgotten that. And snakes. Oh my gosh, that is a true fear that I don't understand why I have. I wish I didn't have it. Even a picture gives me, as a child, I thought I hit jackpot of our Easter egg hunt, and it was copperhead, and they are pretty to a child. They're pretty snakes. I mean, I guess.
Did you pick it up?
Oh, hell no. My grandmother was with me, thank God, and grabbed me. They had a lot of snakes out there, and then when I was 9, my great-grandmother, who I was extremely close to, I do have things from her that I wouldn't want to, her necklaces, I would totally grab that too, by the way. It seemed like yesterday when she passed. In fact, Addison's middle name is after hers. When she passed, I remember we went to the cemetery the day after, and it was like, oh, that's so pretty, and it was a freaking copperhead. That looked like a candy wrapper. I mean, they just pop up in the worst places. And water moccasins, I've tried really hard. We go to the pet store. I've tried to hold snakes, get over it. But I think I killed a snake by scaring it to death the other day with Addison. It was very small, but it made me scream so loud. Sure. I'm pretty sure it died because it was horrible. I mean, if you want to know my vulnerability, put a freaking snake in front of me. Just put it in there, and I will run. Oh, that's just one thing. I've even put one around my neck. Wow. Nothing.
Britney Spears.
Oh no, it was an albino one.
Oh, hey.
I'm a slave. Isn't that the song she did it to?
Yeah.
The VMAs.
Yeah.
God, she and I are the same age. I used to not really like her. I think it was because there was some.
You were jealous of Britney.
Yeah, but I'll never admit that because but I think possibly. But she's a Louisiana. But I was like, Blair, get over it. Seriously.
Yeah.
She's a Louisiana girl.
She is, and she supports a lot of things in
Yes,
Louisiana.
and talk about someone who.
Right.
There's some things. Obviously, my life is not posted throughout the world, but
she had to grow up with the spotlight on her.
Correct,
Yeah.
and along with some mental health issues.
Yeah, she went through phases, but don't we all?
Yes, but it was also kind of cool because she was cousins with people that I knew in Baton Rouge, and then one of her cousins said every now and then they would get phone calls from People Magazine. Oh, what's Brett doing today? So I would be like, give me that phone. Where is she? But that's kind of it.
Yeah, we love Britney. Okay. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now, Blair?
That question, I'm going to give a really boring answer, but the fact that if you would have asked me 10 years ago where I would see myself, this was not in the the sphere, if you know what I mean. So, I'll let you know in 10 years.
Okay.
Look, I don't think it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
But
you take it day by day.
I just, honestly, I have. I really do. When I look back, this was not part of the 10-year plan. But it's not bad. Like I said, I can't go back because I wouldn't have.
Well, looking back, what achievement are you most proud of?
Oh my gosh, again, this is kind of a cheesy answer, but I'm really proud of being a mom. I'm proud that I've been able, to maintain friendships and relationships from when I was a child. That's something that not many people can look back and, say. And I love animals. I love how I got rescuing dogs and all that kind of stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Who is the most famous person that you've ever met, and what was the most interesting thing about them?
Okay, this is kind of cool and unexpected. I got to meet Nelson Mandela.
Oh.
Okay, so my dad, so currently he's the president of UL, which, talk about a success story. Talk about a guy who was not taken very seriously at Sulphur, and he went to UL, and he's worked hard, and he's done every job. Actually, I think he's had every job at UL when he was a student. And then it's just kind of, why not? So he's ended up where he should be, but he's been able to, he's had a lot of friends in politics and stuff, and part of events and functions, and Nelson Mandela came to New Orleans for something, and it was all adults, and my dad really was one thing that I really enjoyed growing up was that they brought me to everything. I remember my friends growing up said, we know a lot more kids than you do, but you have a lot of grown-up friends, because they would bring me to a lot. My dad was very involved with the UL Alumni Association, so they brought me places. And I got to travel a lot with them, and so we went to this event, and it was to honor him. And I will never forget, and I knew he was a big deal. I mean, he's Nelson Mandela. But I didn't really understand at the time how incredible was he. I remember he walked, everyone's on their feet, clapping, everything, people everywhere. And he's going, you know, thank you. And then he walked up right to me, got down to my level, gave me a hug, and it was just a real, I was like, that was a really cool experience.
It is.
Looking back, and it also, as I'm older, looking back, that you can tell where someone's true heart or intent is, that you could tell he's kind of embarrassed a little bit by everyone.
Making a
big deal, correct.
Because he's such a humble person.
Correct, but he went straight to a child.
Right.
And that was really, really cool. Now, celebrity-wise, I probably walked by a couple in the, New York and stuff, but I try to pull I don't care if you're a celebrity. You're not better than me, and I'm not better than you, because I'm kind of embarrassed about being starstruck. But I've got to meet a lot. Well, Bill Clinton's another one, actually. That's a big deal. Dang.
Yeah, former president.
I know. See, okay. I know. Huge
Not
deal.
your average Joe. Yeah.
No. See, I know. Huge. These are things huge deal. Again, thanks to my dad, he was commissioner of higher ed at the time in Baton Rouge, and he gets invited to do commencement speeches all over the state, and that year was at Grambling. So that was a really cool trip, because it was me and him. I remember we flew on Bob Odom's plane. He was the commissioner of agriculture, to my cousin Stephanie's law school graduation in Texas. And that's probably also why I don't like plane trips either, because those small planes are not, they don't give you peanuts, let's put it that way.
First class.
Yeah. And then we went to Grambling. And it was, I know, it was crazy. I mean, that was an experience. First of all, the way their stadium is, you're like in a hole, and it was packed, and there was, I mean, the protection for a president is just insane for obvious reasons, and even, it's probably even more these days.
Right.
But that was, and I got to introduce him, and that was actually the first time I met Bobby Jindal and his wife. And I only knew them as Bob, he used to be the head of the UL system. His politics are obviously different than mine in some aspects, but they're really down-to-earth people. And his wife and I it was very hot that day, and we were kind of borderline wanting to pass out from hunger. So we got up, and we walked with all the security. It's really amazing that we were able to get in where we did. We went into one of the rooms, and I remember we grabbed some random people's name tag that were from some news organizations. I know. I guess I have that face, and that they just, oh no, she's yeah, like as if I worked for ABC News and I was 12, or 13. I forgot. It just. But they really weren't looking, I guess, at people like me as threats. But yeah, I know. But we got to do that, and I got to.
You got to shake hands.
Yeah, it was really cool. But I just remember my dad and Bobby saying, "Oh my gosh, we were so worried about y'all the entire time because it was so hot, and we were fine. We were in the suite. It was great. That was a really fun experience. I know. Oh, and then governors I've got to meet. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that is.
So I know there's somebody else. I know that makes me feel kind of. I've run into Kathie Lee Gifford.
Oh, okay.
Makeup does a big.
Okay.
TV makeup. I shouldn't say that. You edit that completely, but that was an interesting run-in.
Sure.
And that's it.
Okay.
Bill Clinton, Nelson Mandela, and Kathie Lee Gifford. That's the three that come to my mind.
Okay. Good. I like 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, just it. Why did I say that? Is she even
Just
on TV? Well, my mom really different.
yeah,
My
she
mom
is on
really
CBS,
would get aggravated with her because she always talked about her son.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh. So I thought it was really funny that I ran into her, and I said, "Mom, you look a lot better than she does. You're aging well."
We're gonna conclude the interview.
Sorry.
That's okay. Out of all the questions that I asked you, I know I've asked you some interesting ones, but what do you wish I would have asked you, and what would your answer be?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. Another deep thought.
It could be anything a little more personal about you, something that I don't know about you, or something that our audience doesn't know about you, like everything from maybe a nickname to, I don't know, something simple.
My friends still call me Balls Out Blair. They will still refer to, no. Okay, your reaction is exactly what I don't understand. It has nothing to do with what I'm pretty sure you just were thinking in your head, okay? It was because I'm fun.
Gee, I had no idea.
Actually, the story is not gonna make it my case, but it was. It was not. But I swear it's innocent. Like, we all had crazy nicknames, but we were kept freaking S team. We didn't know, but yeah, I was like, yeah, my friends, they still say, hey, Balls, with a Z, by the way. Well, one thing about me is I'm 36, which is pretty. I should be more mature, I guess, but I still live like,
so?
Yeah, I still, you know.
Well, Blair,
Look, I try to keep it young. Look,
you do.
I don't
You
want to
keep
be
it real.
I don't want to be the fun mom. Like, I got really, Addison, like her. I just love kids, but I'm not. I just, it is what it is. But Addison goes, yeah, you're the fun mom. I said, no. I don't want to be known as the fun mom. I want to be known as. You have to have. I didn't like the fun moms. I didn't like go. I did like the fun moms growing up, but I never felt comfortable at their houses because anything would go. So I was like, no. We have rules. I am not your friend. I'm your mother, but I'm also your friend, kind of. But that's about. Don't put that on there. I don't know. There's things I guess I could talk about, but I don't know if I really want to.
Well, it's been very interesting.